Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
We talked about organizations, we saw different types of organizations, and we also made the organization assignment. We tried to correlate the company cost center, etc., back to the supervisory organization. Now that will be important when we are doing the hiring and when we are actually assigning that organization to the worker. But now let's talk about another cool concept of Workday HCM, and that is called stuffing model. Does anyone remember what is a staffing model? What does a staffing model do? It's one of the core concepts. What does it do? What is it used for? Any idea? Any guesses? Position and job. Position and job management are two types. Correct, that's correct, and hiring does. It do hiring or it defines how jobs and positions are created and supervised. Reorganization correct, it defines how the jobs and positions are created. The approach that we will take to fill up the supervisory organizations that we are created, that we have created, and what are the two types of staffing models: position, job position management, and job management. Let's talk about them in detail. Position management offers the most control. It is having a chair for each of the guests that you have invited. Now think about this. You are going to have a party at your home, a small get together of friends, maybe 5 or 6 people have been invited. When you invite 5 or 6 people to your home, apart from making other arrangements, maybe food and drinks, and maybe about how to do it, how to entertain them, etc. You also think about where to sit them, where they will sit. Do you have enough places for them to sit and be comfortable in? Isn't it? You don't expect I'm calling 6 people, but I only have 4 chairs. I will have the other two standing. Do you do that typically? We do not have enough sofas, recliners, it's here. Maybe we borrow some chairs from our neighbors and we make the arrangements that each and every person that we invite should be able to sit first. You bring in the chair, you bring in the jet typically before the guests arrive. Correct, you don't run for chairs after they have arrived. Oh, you don't have a place to sit. Let me get you a chair. It's not that first you get a chair, then that person arrives. Similarly, in a position management, first we create that chair. That chair is equivalent to a position. First, you create the position. It has to be approved. It has to be ready for the new worker to arrive. And just in your chairs, you are all the chairs of the same type. No, not necessary, not necessarily. Some may be, for it can be a recliner. It can be. It can be just a normal plastic chair. It can be a very comfortable, kind of elaborate kind of a sofa, a single seater. It can be a two-seater, three-seater, and even huge sofas and on. But each chair has its own characteristics, isn't it? Each chair is different. The positions that we create, each position will have its own characteristics. Each chair is different. Each position can be different. But first, you define the position, you define the characteristics. It has to be approved, it has to be ready. Then you start hiring in that particular position. It gives you a lot of control. Beforehand, what is the chair? I mean, what is the person who is going to fill up that chair? I mean, what are the characteristics that that person should have now? When I say characteristics, I would say whether it's going to be a full-time worker or a part-time worker. You decide that upfront. What is the location of that worker? What are the qualifications needed for that? In that particular worker, what are the language skills? What are the certifications? What is the experience? Everything you define as much as possible upfront. Indirectly, you are defining the characteristics of the chair and exactly the kind of person that is going to come and occupy that particular chair. This is position management. This gives you a lot of control. Now think about this: if you are going to have a lot of workers coming in, you are hosting a big party, let's say a wedding party, or maybe some big grand get together of around 100 odd people, or maybe even more than 50 to 100 odd people. Where you get chairs for each and every person that you have called, that you have invited for. 200 odd people, that's a big wedding party. Sometimes wedding parties are even bigger. 700,000, 2,000 people. Do you have 2,000 chairs? Then what do you do? What do you do for those grand parties? Approximately, we order for over 1,000, 2,500. A fraction of that you do not order for all 2,000, but then you do what? You host the party in a bigger area, maybe in a lawn or maybe in a big banquet hall or something which has a bigger area, correct? And then the owner of that property, they will tell you our property can typically host around, let's say 700, 2 or 1,500 people, something this. And then you keep in mind that all the guests might not be coming at the same time. They will come, they will leave, and on. You are calculating all those things, but the bottom line is you are not defining the chairs for each and every guest that you have invited. Correct, you're defining your general characteristics. You're saying that the party is going to be in this particular hall. You should be able to make it. Unless you are actually able to make it to the party, you still get all the benefits of attending the party. You get to enjoy the company of people, or maybe the food or the beverages. You don't get to do that unless you are willing to travel to that particular location. You are setting some general characteristics saying that you have to come at the party. The party starts at 7 p.m. You have to be there by that time. That's it. You are defining some general characteristics for people to be invited to that place. And does it give you a lot of flexibility and speed? If you had to define each and every chair, this is for me Sharma, this is for me Avama, this is for my Reddy, this is for me such and such, then you have to define all 2,000 chairs, Is it possible? No. Not possible. You are hosting a big event. It is not possible for you to go and define each and every chair in that minute detail you need. Flexibility. You need speed. You have invited 2,000 people. Will all the 2,000 people come? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe there will be 100 people who are coming. Maybe there are 1,800 people who come, isn't it? Maybe there it can be less, it can be more. Now, if you have invited, let's say 4 people, you are hosting the small party for people. 2 people have come, 2 people have not come. What happens if 2 people have come, the other two? What happens to those chairs? They are empty. And let's say when you are having your dinner, you keep looking at those chairs and say, "Oh, I wish the other 2 people had also come." You keep saying that because those chairs are vacant. You keep looking at them and you keep saying, "Oh, I wish they could make it." That means in all your reports, in all your status reports, etc., those 2 empty positions will keep showing up unless and until somebody says, "Oh, let's remove those chairs. I don't want to think about them all the time. Just let's remove those chairs unless and until you close those positions until and unless you remove those positions, they will keep showing up in your reports because they are open positions. But in those huge party, in those where you have 2,000 people, do you even care if 100 people didn't turn up? You are expecting 2,000 people. 100 people, you won't even notice, even there are less than 300, 400 people didn't turn up. You won't even notice because you are dealing with another 1,600, 1,700 people in a job management kind of organization. It gives you a lot of flexibility and speed, and the restrictions, the characteristics are set for the entire supervisory organization. And there are no defined quantity of the number of jobs. You do not not need to define upfront how many people you are going to hire in job management. It's an open floor. It's an open floor. You can bring in as many people as you want, as you are comfortable, as many people as you need. I should not say as you want, but as you. Let's say you are given the authority to hire 10 people for your organization, for your team. You are building a team. You need 10 people. You start looking for people the moment you reach. Let's say 7 people. You have hired 7 people. You think that is enough. You think you have achieved, the perfect team. Everybody is able to work and your work is getting delivered. You're able to manage it, etc. You do not need to hire 3 more people. You're fine now. On the other hand, if you had position management, and you needed to hire 10 people, you have gone up to 7. That means there are 3 unfilled positions. Your management will keep asking you about what happened to the other 3. What happened to the other 3? Those positions are still open. When are we going to fill it? And you keep saying, "Oh, I don't actually do need it." But then they will ask you, "Then why did you open those positions in the first place? You could have opened it up later. Why do you? Do you still need it? Shall I close it?" And then you are not sure. Do I need it? Do I not need it? If I close this position, maybe I have to open it up again. All those operational overheads are there when you are creating a position. Although a position gives you a lot of control, it allows you to define the characteristics at the position level. It is actually the job management which allows you a lot of flexibility and speed, all and where are hiring restrictions set. Hiring restrictions are set at the position level. In position management, and hiring restrictions are set at the supervisory organization level. For job management, please make a note of this. Hiring restrictions are set at the position level. For position management, hiring restrictions are set at the supervisory organization level. And for job management, in position management, you have to define the number of positions you are going to create. Upfront, when you are creating, you need to define I'm going to create 3 positions, 4 positions, 5 positions, whatever is the number of positions you have to define upfront. Job management, there are no defined quantity for the number of jobs available you can hire. Any number of people. Nobody's now let's take a bit deeper dive into position management. Position management, we understood it, provides the greatest control over hiring. It gives you the ability to define separate hiring rules and restrictions. For each position, for each chair, you can set some rules and restrictions. Saying that this is the corner chair, Merax will sit in this particular chair. In the sofa, the children will be sitting on the left side of Merax. You will make arrangements for Miss X, and in that recliner, Miss Y will be sitting next to the pool. It will be Miss Z. You make these arrangements up front. Have you seen those? The diplomatic level parties where the presidents and the prime ministers and etc. they go and they sit and they have these grand dinners. Have you noticed that they have their name tags placed in front of the chairs that they are about to sit? Mayor, prime minister, president. It is decided up front who is going to sit where. And have you gone to any round table meetings where there is actually a table and people are sitting all around it? If it has been planned in advance, then they will have name tags in front of each chair saying that here mid X, mi Y, Z, mi ma B. It is clearly identified who is going to sit where. It is done because each and every chair has its own characteristics and rules and restrictions. Who is going to sit where similarly positioned. Management. Also, we are going to define the rules, the characteristics, the restrictions at each and every position level. And first, you need to create the position that position has to be approved and ready before you are able to hire a worker or transfer a work to that position. All and you need to define the hiring restrictions for each and every position that you create. When should you use it? When should you? I mean that it sounds a bit overwhelming. It sounds a bit, too much work. When should you use it? You should use it when you need the ability to define each and every position to the minutest of the detail. Based on what? Based on the location, the job requirements, and it is. Remember, it will be subject to tight hiring controls. First, it has to be approved, reviewed, etc. Then it will be available for hiring. This is very important. It gives you a lot of control, no doubt, but it is also a bit of an overhead if you need to create each and every position. Think about ICS who hires, 30,000, 40,000 freshers. Every year, should they go for position management? Is it possible to go for position management for Those kind of jobs, pressure hiring. No, you need to have an army of people just to create positions, isn't it? You have to keep creating positions, one after the other. Let's look at, but then let's contrast it to. Let's say a very specific what the integration architect. How many work integration architects are you going to hire? One, two, 500. How many would you typically hire? One or two, one or two, one or two. If you are going to hire one or two, then what would you do? Would you say anybody who knows what they are welcome? We specifically know what is the experience or what is the certification qualification. Absolutely how many projects he must have worked on. He or she must have worked on how many implementations? Two cycle implementations. How many implementations? Many customers he or she might have supported. You would define all those characteristics, all those experiences in detail that the person who is actually doing the hiring, they know these are the requirements for this particular position. Let's take a look at a use case. Frank manages a team of customer support specialists in different locations across but the pay scales expected, job skills, experience, and other requirements of employment vary widely from one position and even from one location to other. In addition, or requires approval for each position. Can we have some? Generic set of requirements across the globe. No, because it says doses. Thin things vary widely. We cannot have one set of, generic set of requirements. HR requires approval for each position. Each position has to be approved before you are able to hire someone in that position. This means that you need the ability to define each position narrowly based on the hiring location, requirements, and current needs, and are subject to tight hiring controls. A position management is appropriate in this particular example. Although it is going to be a team of customer support specialists, all of the everybody is going to be ultimately a customer support specialist, but they are going to be in different locations where the pay scales experience, job skills expects. Everything will vary widely. Now let's go into Workday and let's see what this all translates to. The hiring restrictions. And what are these hiring restrictions that I'm talking about? Let me open up Workday and then let me proxy as login. Let me proxy a slogan now, a very silly but maybe very obvious question. Where would we create positions in an organization, which is position management enabled or job management? Enable. Where would we create positions? In which kind of organization? Supervisory, of course. Supervisory, of course, you're correct. But which kind of staffing model? A position management enabled organization or a job? Management enabled organization positions, position management positions in position management. Remember it that way. And where do we know what is the staffing model for that supervisory organization? How do we know? that in the staffing tab, correct. In the staffing tab, we see that this is job management. Can we find anything that which is position management? I think there was one organization that we chose as position management, or this is also a job which was the one we created. At the end, I think it's sales. Did we create sales at the end? We create sales. Here it is position management. Now let me show you how we define the characteristics of a position. First, I want to check something. I want to check the business process definition that will be followed to create the position. Now I'm just checking it. You do not need to follow along at this point because we will talk about business processes in detail later. But let me show you how to check for that. You go to the related actions of this organization. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.